What's up, everybody? Rob here. So this is a very unusual setting. This is my kitchen, and a very unusual time. It is actually Christmas Day. It is 12:21 a.m., so it's technically Christmas morning. I'm currently cooking for Christmas Day. I got a lasagna in the oven. We're not Italian, my family. We're not Italian, but it's apparently an Italian thing, and I just thought, well, I like lasagna, so hey, why not? And I'm also making cookies right now. This is not a gimmick, actually. I really am making, cookie batter here. And a couple things, a couple channel announcements. I'm going to be here for a while, and I'll get to that in a second, but I haven't been putting out videos as quickly as I would have liked to, mostly because I work in a grocery store, holiday season, things are pretty chaotic, pretty much, and will continue to be chaotic till probably mid-January. And furthermore, on top of the holiday season, there's also the issue of a snowstorm, a pretty big snowstorm that happened last week. So I was expecting a day off, and then no, you're not coming in. Yeah, look at the Weather Channel. Yeah, guess what? Yeah, you're not taking the day off. So I haven't been putting out videos. I do have scripted ones. I have like a whole list of things I'm ready to want to do, but I don't seem to have the time to do it. When I do have the time, well, life intervenes. Any case. I'm here now for the next, I want to say 45 minutes or so. See, this is a recipe from Townsend's. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Townsend's. It's historical cooking, historical life, particularly the cooking from the 18th and early 19th century, especially colonial America. I'm sure you guys know who Townsend's is. And I just wanted to let you know that since it is past midnight, and I did a full shift at work today, and yeah, I'm not, it's early in the morning, so I'm not exactly the most coherent at the moment, so this is really mostly to keep myself entertained while I'm doing this, because I have to beat this now for 1 hour. I'm already, I'd say, about 15 minutes in there, thereabouts. I still got like another, like 45 minutes or thereabouts to go. So, yeah, you have to continue beating this batter continually for that amount of time, and rather than just sitting here stirring it continually, I figured I'd, share my thoughts on things with all of you. So the recipe, of course, is in the descriptions if you want to follow along. If you have a stand mixer, this actually would be really, really great for you to use that. I don't have a stand mixer because I'm too cheap, and I don't have room for it anyway, so, by hand it shall be, as it was done in the old days. But in any case, that is not why I have made this video. I'm actually going to talk about Star Wars, because why not? You see, my job, while I'm there like 50 plus hours per week, and then some, it's not a very intellectually stimulating job. I really don't, it doesn't require a tremendous amount of thought. So in order to keep myself sane, well, I think. And I think about odd, random things. And one of the things that came into my mind was Stormtroopers and their terrible, horrifying aim. And why basically it's almost a joke in pop culture that Stormtroopers can't hit the broadside of a barn. And we got Grimaldus here. Grimaldus he's a good kitty. He's kind of weird, and if things start rocking, it's because probably him, or no, we got back there, Matthew, the other cat. I have three. One of them is just walking out. Yeah, they like to touch things. It's because you have the new setup here, because I never set up a camera here, and so that's a novelty for them. And so it's a novelty for them, and because it's a novelty for them, they have to touch things. They can't not touch things. Well, any case, where was I? Hold up. Yeah, anyway, Star Wars. So yeah, Star Wars, the Imperial troops, they can't seem to hit the broadside of a barn. Now, the real reason for that, of course, is plot armor. You can't have the protagonists getting killed off, early in the, unless it's dramatically appropriate, let's put it that way, if they even get killed off at all. And, well, okay, that's why Stormtroopers can't seem to hit anything. And of course there is the issue in A New Hope. They were letting the Millennium Falcon, Luke, Leia, and Han, and Chewie, they were letting them escape so that they can track the Millennium Falcon back to a Rebel base, which actually is the plot hole. Why didn't Leia knew they were being tracked, well, why didn't she, just, go somewhere else and then take that to Yavin? Why go directly to Yavin? But, whatever. But yeah, otherwise though, there's, like, especially Return of the Jedi and I think The Mandalorian, which I have not seen because I'm not paying for Disney Plus, but I've seen clips from it, and I've seen reviews of it, and it's like, yeah, they can't seem to hit any of the protagonists. I'm thinking, well, okay, outside of plot armor, the meta reason, what is the in-universe reason for the Stormtroopers and their utter inability to hit anything? And most people, when they bring this up. They go to the Stormtroopers themselves. These guys just can't aim. They're terrible shots. They're incompetent. They're terrible. But I never liked that explanation. I mean, this is me completely writing the script for them, which is something that shouldn't happen. There's like 74 different, Disney Plus things coming out, like Star Wars related things. It's pretty much like, Disney Plus has pretty much become the Star Wars and the Marvel network, but whatever. So I don't want to do the writing for these guys, but if they want to use this, whatever, give me some credit, I guess. But it's not the Stormtroopers themselves, because from a writing perspective, it doesn't make sense that your antagonists are incompetent. Well, then, escaping from them or preventing them from like outsmarting them or outfighting them, it's not that big of a deal. Like, there's no tension in the scene. You want to have, when there's a scene, when you have a fight scene of some kind, you want there to be that tension. Like, can the protagonists get out of this? Maybe they have to use clever tactics. They can't just simply outfight them. They gotta outsmart them. They gotta outfight them. Use some clever stratagem or something like that in order to win. And if it was just because these guys are incompetent, well, then it takes away any tension from the scene. I want my villains to be good at their job. So likewise, though, Stormtroopers themselves, they can and they have been shown to be very competent. For example, the opening scene of A New Hope, the Rebel blockade runner is just overrun by Stormtroopers, and they just plow right through. They take some losses, yes, but they plow right through the rebels that are guarding, that are trying to repel the borders. Okay, sure. So they can be competent. I don't think it's a training thing. I actually think it's an equipment failure. And this is actually the crux of what I'm trying to get out here, because I'm sorry I'm rambling, but it's late. You see, the Empire, now I don't know off the top of my head how big the Galactic Empire is. I really have no idea. But I'm going to assume it has billions of soldiers. Okay, just like billions upon billions of soldiers. Like the U.S. military right now has like 2 million, I think, something like that. The Chinese military has like 3 million. You take that on a galactic, that's just, 2 militaries on a planet. Okay, well now you scale that up to entire planets, an empire that controls, many thousands, maybe even millions of star systems, etc. We're talking like billions upon billions upon billions of soldiers, not just stormtroopers, but other, imperial troops as well. That means that their equipment, needs have got to be astronomical. That means they possibly even have trillions of blasters that they have to supply to their soldiers. And the same thing with this can also somewhat apply to a stormtrooper armor, which is less than useless. Okay, they have to supply trillions of soldiers. It's not going to be of the highest quality. It is mass-produced junk. See, people have this strange idea, and I don't want to turn this into a Second Amendment thing, but when people hear the words military grade, they think like this is high-quality stuff that's super powerful and super effective. No, it means it's mass-produced by the lowest bidder. Okay, now imagine that, but on a galactic scale. Okay. They're churning these things out left, right, and center. They have to have, billions, maybe even trillions of these things. Plus, you got to have spares and replacement parts. You're going to have extras, all that stuff. Stuff is going to wear out. Stuff is going to need constant or near constant maintenance on it. You're going to have to increase production. So, this is not high quality stuff. And all of the issues that we have in our world with mass-produced things, things that are just mass-produced, as cheaply as possible, that's going to be magnified many fold. Now, you might have some worlds somewhere that, they're dedicated forge worlds, which is a Warhammer 40k term, I know, but they're dedicated, refinery or manufacturing worlds. Okay, fine, but you're still providing for billions, maybe even trillions of these, blasters and other pieces of military equipment. So it's going to be of low quality to begin with. So just there in and of itself is a good reason why Stormtroopers just can't seem to hit anything. It's not the soldiers themselves. The soldiers themselves are competent and capable. They're just using second-rate equipment. And you can actually put this in any one of the million shows that are coming out. Just simply say to, you can have a scene, there's actually the scene in The Mandalorian, where you have the two, simple fix for that scene. We have the two stormtroopers, they're on the speeder bikes, and they pull out their blaster, and they try to shoot the cans, and they both miss. And what I thought was a terrible scene, because you're basically confirming, yes, it's a funny inside reference to them not able to shoot, but again, it takes away the tension because, okay, obviously these guys are all morons, okay? well, they're morons. Okay, they can't do their job properly. Oh, really scary antagonists there. But what should have happened is first guy misses. Tries to shoot the can on the on the side over there. He misses. His friend pulls out his blaster, shoots the can, and actually hits it for a shot. He then hands it over to his friend, like his blaster over to his friend there, who then manages to hit it. And then so it's obviously it's an equipment thing, and they can even say something like stupid mass-produced junk, stuff like that. Boom, there you go. They can't hit anything. There's a reason for it, but it's also because it's an equipment problem rather than the competence of the soldiers themselves. Simple fix for that scene, and it also establishes this problem that yes, they are trying to basically police a galaxy with basically on a budget. I don't care how the Galactic Empire is so powerful, and so yeah, you're still on a budget though. This could be explored in some work in the future. The Empire does use slavery. That is a known established canon fact. Well, slaves tend to not make very good workers. So you already have the problems with mass production, especially on that scale. But then you add in the fact that a lot of it's made with slave labor, like Wookiees. I know they're enslaved and they're forced to work for the Empire. You have a bunch of other planets and races. Just slavery is a fact of life within the Empire. Well, okay, you tell me that a slave who doesn't want to be there and has a vested interest in seeing the Empire crumble, now he's making equipment for the Empire. They're not going to undermine things a little bit. You tell me that okay, I'm forging a blaster. I have no idea how they work, but some little part, I'm just gonna move it, not enough to make it seem obvious, but just I'm gonna move something a slight, like a quarter of a millimeter, just a little hair's breadth out of alignment. The barrel's not gonna line up properly with the sight, just a little bit off, or some sort of internal lens. I'm assuming because it's a laser, it's an energy thing, that there's some sort of lenses involved. Just slightly, it's not concave, the actual lens, the actual glass itself. It's not concave. It's not at the perfect angle. Or it has a slight imperfection. It's just little minor things that are going to pass inspection, especially when there's millions of them. You're not going to catch everything. Some of them are just going to slip right through. They're going to affect the overall performance of that piece. You can say the same thing about Imperial vehicles, Imperial Stormtrooper armor. Why it doesn't work? I have no idea why they paint them white. I really have no idea. I mean, camouflage does work, people. The only time I can actually sort of justify not having camouflage is in the 40K universe, because that whole environment that whole setting just pretty much runs on absurdity. But that's another story. Yeah, and just have them slightly. Oh, hi Grim. This is Grim. Grimaldus, named after. Speaking of 40K, yeah, he's named after the Black Templar, hero of Hell's Reach. Also, super annoying. He's cute though. Anyway, where was I? Hold on. Editing while I regain my train of thought. But yeah, slave labor would definitely undermine the quality of Imperial equipment. This actually has historical precedence. The Nazis, which the Empire is pretty much based on, Stormtrooper. Where do you think George Lucas got that from? I mean, it's right out of Nazi Germany. Vader's helmet, tell me that's not a style helmet. I mean, come on. Anyway, the Nazis used slave labor, and they would constantly do this. They would oftentimes be concentration camp victims would oftentimes be used in munitions plants, and there was all kinds of things, like German munitions all the time would either not work properly or would fail. They would just fail. There's all kinds of stories of them just failing to detonate. They had a much higher failure rate than things made by... Hold on, he's not allowed on the table. He's allowed anywhere in the house I want, but not on a table, so I have to deal with this. Hold on. They had a much higher failure rate than the Allies, because the people who were making it really had a vested interest in making sure that the Nazis did not actually win. Oh look, these people are trying to genocide me and my people, and they want me to make weapons for them. Oh, there's opportunities here. There are opportunities, especially with things like artillery shells. Well, I'm just gonna make sure the fuse looks connected, but it's really not. Or maybe not put quite as much explosives in, say, a primer charge or something, just little bits here and there. And they would just, artillery shells would just land, right next to an American position and just not go off. There was a scene from Band of Brothers where you have, I forgot their names. I really need to rewatch Band of Brothers because it's always a good reason to watch Band of Brothers, but it's the Bastogne episode, and there's the bombardment, and shells are going off, but then one of them lands like right in the foxhole, but it doesn't go off. It's like, well, that happened actually fairly, not, I wouldn't say regularly, but that happened much more often than, say, American shells sent the other way. Because that was probably, that shell, I know it was done for dramatic effect, but if that was, real, that would, that basically shows that, that shell was probably made by a concentration camp or some other form of slave labor, and that guy was, and he probably just, didn't set up the fuse properly, or did something to, like, didn't connect the right wire, something, just to undermine the German war effort. And so, yeah, and what does that have to do with Star Wars? Well, yeah, same thing. Do you think, like, a Wookiee who's, chained up and forced to work in a munitions plant for the Empire is going to make sure that, like, their blaster rifles are, in prime condition, like, this is high quality work? No, of course not. He's gonna sabotage something in any way possible. So, yeah, I think that's just something that can be used. It's a very long-winded way for basically me saying, it's like, yeah, Stormtrooper competence, Stormtrooper ineptitude is not a matter of incompetence, but rather an equipment problem. So, yeah. And since I got another half hour to go, I might as well just keep talking, because something else popped into my mind, too. And it's a matter of scale. I don't think sci-fi writers in general have any idea how big a galaxy is, and how many troops are needed, how big military operations can be. I don't know if I'm thinking this correctly, but in Phantom Menace, episode 1, the invasion of Naboo, there was something like, they said, 30,000 battle droids are attacking Naboo. It's like, that's it? For some reason, and when you saw the battle, it's like, there's a couple thousand there. It's like, it looks like an impressive force, but then you think about it for more than 5 seconds with any knowledge of military history. It's like, that's it? You're conquering a planet with that? I mean, look, Napoleon, La Grande Armée, invaded Russia with over 500,000 soldiers. Okay? It was enough. Early 19th century used over 500,000 soldiers to invade another country, and it wasn't enough. Okay? Operation Barbarossa. I think it was like 3 million soldiers, or close to 3 million soldiers also invading Russia. For some reason, people like to invade Russia. I don't know what the deal is. But they tried to invade Russia, and you know what happened? It wasn't enough. The Schlieffen Plan, roughly anywhere between 800,000 and 1.3 million German soldiers invading France through Belgium, okay, and it wasn't enough. You have a couple tens of thousands trying to conquer a planet. It's like, that's nothing. That's nothing at all. And then some people will try to justify, say, okay, they were just going after the capital city. Fine, but still, like, a couple thousand to capture a city? No, you're going to need hundreds of thousands to do that if this place has any sort of, like, significant population to it. You need thousands upon thousands upon, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands to be able to pull this off. So, surprisingly, actually, since we're, on the subject, Warhammer 40K is actually the most realistic when it comes to this. They actually are, honestly, the most realistic when it comes to the scale of things. You may have a story where it focuses on a single, say, Imperial Guard regiment or a single Space Marine company or something like that. Yes, it's focusing on them, and they're going after, say, the enemy's heartland. They're going after the enemy's, say, command center or their capital city. But they make it very clear that outside of this, there is an absolutely massive force elsewhere securing various other places. For example, Hell's Reach, like, Little Grim is named after. The Black Templars are there in the city, as well as thousands upon thousands of Imperial Guard, Armageddon Steel Legion troops. There's also a Titan legions in the city. Plus, they make it clear that there's also Cadians that are elsewhere, many Cadian regiments. There's Space Wolves there. I think there were Celestial Lions are there. There's other Space Marine chapters. There's all kinds of other Imperial Guard regiments and Titan legions. And so, like, yes, we're focusing on this one little, this one group of Black Templars, and of course the they're supporting Steel Legion, Steel Legionary, these Steel Legionary Guardsmen that are there with them. But they make clear, like, this is just a small part of a massively larger conflict. What's the name of that one? Gaunt's Ghosts. Yes, it follows the 10th First and Only, but they're part of a much larger crusade. Just wherever you go, in many of the Horus Heresy novels, they focus on, okay, this one Space Marine chapter, you know, the Iron Hands, or you know, the Thousand Suns, or whatever it is. But they're supported by Imperial Army auxiliaries. They're supported by other Space Marine chapters who are in other sections of the battlefront. So yes, for Warhammer 40K, they make it very clear that this is just a small part of a larger picture. And I think that's something that sci-fi really needs to, especially if they're going to do something very militaristic like this. You know, a few hundred fighters in a single location. There's a major storm going on out here. That's just not enough. So like, I just don't buy it. Like, I'm like, that's really like, oh, tens of thousands of troops have landed on our planet. It's like, dude, that's nothing. It's like you can't deal with, like, you know, 10,000 battle droids, and those things suck anyway. Okay, fine. It was 20,000 of them, 30,000, 50,000. It's like, really, your entire planet can't handle like 50,000 of those things? Come on, it's like, don't waste my time. Seriously, you're stupid. You obviously don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, it's a very long, rambling way of saying yeah, learn some sense of scale. That's pretty much it. So yeah, I actually got to give Warhammer 40K props for that one. So that's it for this video. I still have another 20 minutes or so I gotta go, and I've been rambling enough, I think. So in any case, hope this turns out well. Please hit the like and subscribe button. More videos will be coming out whenever I get around to it. And have a good day, or don't have a good day. You're adults, you can have any kind of day you want. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, happy any other holidays you may or may not be celebrating, and yeah, have a good day. Or don't have a good day. You're adults, have any kind of day you want. I already said that. My mind is going, and yeah, my mind is going. Right, see you later.